The universe provided once again. Honestly, it never stops amazing me. Remember that video I made about combining van life with house sitting? At the end, I joked that my hair regrowth was getting out of control and maybe it was time to house sit again so I could finally dye my hair. But I didn't actually go looking. I just kind of sent that thought out there into the universe. And 1 week later, bam! A text message popped up from someone I used to work with. Her house sitter had to cancel, and she thought of me. And just like that, the next house sit appeared, without me even trying. I love when things like that happen. Do you have any stories where the universe seemed to provide for you? Let me know, because I love hearing those. These little synchronicities happen to me a lot. That's why I sometimes talk about the universe. You can call it whatever fits your belief system. God, source energy, higher consciousness, or just a happy accident. Some people think it's complete BS. And fair enough, because we all know people who desperately wish for something. A partner, money, health. If only it was that easy to just wish things into existence, right? But I actually think there is a huge difference between wishing and trusting. When you are desperately wishing, your energy says, I want, I lack, I need. And the universe goes, okay, noted, you are someone who lacks. Wish granted. But when you just send it out there calmly, with the quiet confidence that I don't know how, but it will happen, the universe kind of has no choice but to meet your energy. So why don't I just send out a wish for millions in my bank account? Well, that's another story. My inner child probably doesn't believe I deserve it yet. I have got plenty of limiting beliefs to work through. Also, I need to be more specific, because I have had a million before, in Czech koruna, which doesn't quite hit the same, does it? So now I'm here, house-sitting this lovely home and looking after this little munchkin. She is obsessed with food, and it took her about 2 weeks to stop begging every time I sat down to eat. You can tell her humans never stood a chance against those puppy eyes. They did say they wouldn't mind if she lost a little weight though. So she's on rations. Why does it sound like Russians? I think she can't wait for her humans to come back. Besides dyeing my hair, there was one more thing I was saving for when I had a proper house again. Replacing my toilet. Yes, that toilet. The very same one I recommended in a previous video. But don't worry, I'm not taking it back. It's still a great brand. Mine broke after 2 years, but they replaced it under the 3-year warranty. Didn't even ask many questions. I think the fault was very rare anyway. The little floaty thing from inside the tank came out, so the gauge stopped working. Please don't ask me how I found out that it's not working. Let's just say I found it remarkable that it stayed green for much longer than usual. When I called Anaconda, the store I bought it from, they told me they would have to send it away for assessment. Which I found kind of hilarious, because who wants to assess a used toilet? But fine. The problem was, I can't just not have a toilet while waiting weeks for replacement. Paying for campgrounds would have cost me way more than a new one. So I waited until I was house-sitting, carefully checking the level the old-fashioned way, then emptied it, scrubbed it spotless, because, you know, I didn't want anyone to think I'm a pig, and brought it in. And guess what? They just threw it straight into the bin and handed me a brand new one on the spot. Apparently, for hygienic reasons, they wouldn't be assessing it after all. Would have been nice to know before I scrapped the life out of it. Anyway, my old toilet was beautifully decorated and now I have got this plain white one again. So off to Bunnings I went to get the same wall sticker as before. I must have had more patience last time because this time it came out full of bubbles and wrinkles. But you know what? Who cares? It's just a toilet. When I posted that video about being completely exhausted after a long week, a lot of people commented, "Why don't you just rent a place or at least a room? Surely you could afford it." And honestly, I don't get what living in a house has to do with being rested. What I was missing wasn't a bed. It was time. People forget how much work living in a house actually is. Maybe they are just so used to it, they can't see it anymore. But from where I am standing, you basically become a slave to your house. Like this bathtub here, I haven't even used it, but 2 weeks later it's full of dust, and now I have to clean it anyway? What is this scam? I think I have just grown too feral for this kind of life. Honestly, if I ever have to live in a house again, I better have enough money for a cleaner. This is how I spend my free time in a van. This is how I spend my free time in a house. Okay, I am exaggerating a little. There is stuff to do in a van too, but nowhere near as much. Plus, now my commute is 25 minutes instead of 5. That's 40 extra minutes I could have spent eating dinner already. So yeah, from my perspective, if you don't have time to rest in a van, you will have even less time in a house. The other day, my friend from Sydney came to visit. Apparently, her husband, hi Michael, who is a big fan of the channel, complained that I never mention him. So there you go, Michael. You are loved, appreciated, and officially a part of the story now. We went for cake, ceremonial cacao, and a bit of shopping. I treated myself to these awesome Boody Pants. They make organic bamboo clothes, and I already own a bunch of their stuff. Not sponsored, unfortunately, but if they ever want to send me another pair of these pants to sleep in, I wouldn't say no. That's how comfy they are. Summer is slowly approaching, and work is getting a bit wild. I'm getting more jobs than I can physically do in one day, and honestly, I cry a little almost every day. So I decided to buy myself an expensive toy to remind myself why I am torturing myself with all this work. Don't get me wrong, the job itself is fun, but the long hours with almost no rest, not fun. It was much better in the mines where I actually had a whole week off to recover. Anyway, I got myself a new drone. As you might know, I love whales and dolphins, and every time I film them, I just want to get a closer look. But in Australia, you are not allowed to get within 60 meters. Well, with this baby and its massive telescopic lens, I can finally get the close-up shots I have been dreaming of. And no, DJI is not sponsoring me. But I wish they were, because this creator combo was insanely expensive. So tomorrow, me and Doggo are heading out on a little adventure to test it out. Hopefully we will find some dolphins. Wish us luck! I must say I am really happy with this purchase. Look at this footage. Can you believe I'm 60 meters away from them? Mind-blowing. This is every marine biologist's dream. Yeah, that's actually what I wanted to be when I was a kid. I even studied zoology at uni, but when it came time to pick a direction and I told them about my obsession with marine mammals, they laughed. Apparently, it's a weird dream for someone growing up in a landlocked country. They said the biggest mammal I could study there was a bat, and that's how my marine biologist dream ended. But you know what? I still love watching marine wildlife, even if it's just for fun. And now I really can't wait for whale season. I have still got a lot to learn with this drone. For example, I couldn't figure out how to force land it onto my hand. I managed the first time, but the second time, nope. Ended up landing it straight into the sand. Meanwhile, the girl was standing there like, "Oh, can I eat that?" Honestly, wouldn't it be amazing if I could make a little extra income with this toy? I might have to look into that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, my friends. If you enjoyed this little story from my life, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share your own The Universe Provided story in the comments. See you next time!